What's up, y'all? Welcome to Seidler Family Ministries podcast. I pray you're doing well in this beautiful October weather. Jody right now is in Tbilisi, Georgia, with our Waymakers trip from the Gateway Project. 20 plus leaders from 4 different nations have gathered together to go to 3 different Gateway cities. So super stoked about that. I just got like a long list of prophetic insight that they're having on their trip in Georgia, and just so awesome. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Jody's having a trip of a lifetime. The boys are waking up very early in the morning, 2, 3 a.m., snuggling daddy, playing together. I don't know what's going on. It's like we got jet lag. Jody's doing great. So I think the Lord gave us Jody's jet lag. So we receive that as a family member. We're a family. It's a ministry. So we go through jet lag together and hard times together. But so Jody's on a trip. Things are going awesome. Last week we were down in Pennsylvania, hanging out with our Hopewell Network tribe. We've been to the Hopewell Network conference before, and we've been down there teaching at their gatherings for their network and their pastors and leaders. Really good friends of ours. Obviously, the leader of it, Lester Zimmerman, my father-in-law, Jody's dad, amazing. But we love all those leaders. But this is our first time being a part of Hopewell down there. So it's a different vibe. Really awesome, though. Got to meet some newer, younger leaders that are being raised up in their movement. So it was just really cool to connect, to network, receive some great teaching. Their entire network conference, their one day, was really just focused on how do we make disciples, raise up the next generation. So right in line with everything that Jody and I have been feeling over the past years of like, we feel like we want to jump into that more. So Hopewell hit a home run. Hello. I'm a Braves fan, so there weren't a lot of home runs this year. Hit a home run, baby. It was such a great conference. And the speaker, I believe, was Keith Spurgeon, whatever. I forget his last name, but he was awesome, from Texas, an awesome pastor. He has a network of his own. So just a really, really special time. And while we were down there, we also had a booth. So I want to hold up some of these cards here. Forge School of Missions, y'all, is happening. There's no 21-day trip, so ignore the 21-day. But friends, right here, if you can scan your phone, look, I'm going to put it right there. I don't know how technology works, but if this works, praise God. But we're doing Forge School of Missions again, y'all, next summer, the same dates as last year, June 2nd to 12th, a 10-day trip. Last year, we had 20 people from the nations and 20 people from the U.S., so it was 40-plus students. This year, we're believing to double our numbers, so packing 70 to 80 people inside of our base, which it's a big base. It's awesome. It's amazing, our training center in Southeast Asia. But that will be very, very sweaty, very, very packed, and very, very amazing. So if you're interested in learning about how to reach unreached people groups, if you want to grow in worship and intercession and prayer culture, but also if you want to grow in your identity in Christ, those are the 3 ingredients we feel that God is raising up a new generation and a new type of missionary. And those missionaries carry those 3 things at their core. They carry who they are in Christ. They carry a heart for worship and intercession more than the mission side of stuff, more than the actual like detailing blueprint side of stuff. They really have a passion to go deep in worship and prayer and intercession. And thirdly, there are people that know what's going on in the world. There are people that are knowledgeable about the 1040 window and least reached people. The stats are staggering and concerning. There are 500,000 missionaries now across the world from all different nations, which is awesome. And 3% of those missionaries serve in the 1040 window. So where there is the most work needed to happen, there is the least amount of workers. Do you understand that? So there's 2 billion plus people that don't know Jesus, 7,000 unreached people groups. You can find them all in the 1040 window, the beautiful heavenly rectangle from Northern Africa to Eastern Asia. Whoops, I dropped one. There's 2 billion people in that triangle, 1040 window, and that their populations are growing fast. And while there's westernization happening in some areas, where it's like, they have access to the internet and probably see TikTok preachers and stuff like that, there still are tremendous amounts of those 2 billion people that have zero access to the gospel. So what I've been preaching lately is zero access, zero workers. Even though it's 3%, it's still like It's still crazy. And then there's over $1 trillion of giving to missions every year from around the world. So as a global church, we give over $1 trillion to missions, which is amazing. But 1% of the money given, the $1 trillion, 1% of that money goes to the 1040 window. So we believe there's a few problems that we're facing, not just the lostness of the world, but also there's a lack of workers and there's a lack of resources. So as the Gateway Project, one of our side quests, while we have many, one of our side quests is just to continue to pray and press in and believe and say, God, we're asking for a tithe of workers in the nations to go into the 1040 window. So there's 500,000 right now. There's 3%, so that's about 27,000. We want to see 50,000 workers go into the workforce in the next 20 years. And then also we want to see a tithe of all missions giving. Right now, the $1 trillion that's happening. Hi, Kai. I'm here with my son. Come here, Kylo. No, don't go. Okay. Come here. You want to do the podcast with Daddy? Yeah. Okay. Right now, there's a just look at the camera here. You want to show him your chippy hands? That's terrifying. There's nothing more terrifying. I've been talked to by the cops and overseas. I've had underground churches, things busted into. I've had teammates taken in by the cops and interrogated. Nothing terrifies me more than a toddler with Cheeto fingers. Is that right, Kato? But there's so for the tithe, we want to see a tithe of the $1 trillion, whatever that's going to be. Mathematicians, put it in the chat. We want to see a tithe of all missions giving also go to the least reached areas of the world. So that's what Forge is about. Forge is about equipping the global church to understand missions, to understand the problems that we're facing, to understand least reached people groups of the world. Another thing that we're doing, friends, is Teos, the Art of Shepherding, March 8th through 10th, baby, at Blue Mountain Christian Retreat. Our theme for this year is Let Jesus Have the Room. The whole concept that we're going after is a lot of church, you can kind of figure it out. In fact, right now, you can probably just Google search like ways to grow your church from 2 to 400 or double your church growth. There's a lot of cute cookie cutter things that you can apply to your church that sometimes work. Most times they don't. But you paid an exorbitant amount of money for a coach or a consultant or a strategy that's been worked out in some other location, and you kind of just go through the motions and go through. Kylo, see me. All right, come around this, baby. I don't want you to hit the stop button. And so what we feel, though, through the Art of Shepherding with Forward Coalition, 10 ministries, there's numerous other ministries helping out now with the Art of Shepherding. But what we feel is man, we want to love on pastors and raise up teams that are coming, the lead pastors that are coming to this event. We really want to impart to them the whole concept of let Jesus have the room. Don't just invite him into the room, give him back the room. And because we think the churches that are going to, we think the church, yes, honey? Okay, I'll be right back. We're going to wash hands real quick. And we're back, baby. All right, we got our hands washed. So the whole concept that I was sharing about before, the Art of Shepherding, is we want to see pastors and leaders that aren't chasing a blueprint strategy done by somebody else. They're going through the motions of things. They're kind of there. You know how ministry gets. We see a generation of pastors, older and younger, and new lead pastors that are going to be raised up in the future. We see a generation that is Jesus is leading his church. The thing he said in Matthew, which is, I will build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail. We want to see leaders kind of rise up in a fresh way to enter into that. So, and the last thing is the Called Collective, baby. We had a card for that at the Hopewell Conference. There's the new ministry that Jody and Carol Ball and numerous others are leading now and have founded. So here's this kid. I'm not sure if this is going to work. If it does, technology, am I right? Thank you, Elon Musk. But this is Called Collective. It says, awakening women to bold faith, clear purpose, and unapologetic calling. Let's go. So they're doing events. I believe there's actually one tonight, maybe. I don't know. But they're doing training events. And they're going to soon start doing traveling live trainings with groups of women that feel called to ministry or already in ministry. So super exciting stuff popping out with Seidler Family Ministries. There's a bunch of other things that we're launching and doing as well. But those are the 3 cards that we brought down to Hopewell. So Jody's on her trip. The boys are doing well. We've had an amazing time over the past weeks. This upcoming weekend, we're doing this upcoming weekend, I'm in Watertown with Joseph Gilchrist and New Life Church. They're doing a Kingdom Builders Gala, which is a gathering for people that have given above and beyond to missions. So the Gateway Project is one of those ministries they support, which is awesome. I know they support numerous others as well. So I'm the special speaker. So I'm going to look all dapper with a tie maybe and or a bow tie or something like that. So and then Pastor Joe said, hey, don't yell at them, okay? Thank them a little bit. So I am going to be preaching hardcore missions, hardcore giving. Sneak peek of my sermon. I have 20 minutes, which is good. But I'm going to talk about how that if you're a kingdom-minded believer and you're really passionate about seeing the gospel go where it hasn't gone before, eventually everybody has a boundary that they've set where as the gospel goes across that boundary, you start to feel uncomfortable. And this church has done some phenomenal things with giving, and I know some of their upcoming projects. And I think some people in that church, they like giving to things that are like what they know and they experienced or they feel in their heart. But as soon as the gospel gets to fringe people, as soon as the gospel gets to supporting initiatives that maybe wouldn't be your first thing, you start to have some walls start to come up. So I'm going to talk about how they've been so faithful in giving. The impact has been exponential, but there's going to come a time where you're going to feel the pressure and feel the weight of the gospel press you in some areas. And if you just read the Gospels, if you look at what Jesus was teaching the disciples, you look at the woman at the well, you talk about the story of the Good Samaritan, Jesus is trying to help them understand that the gospel is going to go to places that you don't even feel comfortable with, that you think are like illegal. This is why Peter had to have in the book of Acts, Peter had to have the great moment where the white sheet is put out in front of him, and an angel comes before him and puts out a white sheet, and it's all sort of like it's pork ribs and it's bacon and it's all this stuff. It's like, oh, it's unclean. It's all stuff I can't eat. I can't do it. And the shepherd's like, the angel's like, bro, chill. Like, you rise and eat, rise, kill and eat, Peter. And then he has the amazing moment of like, oh, there's a revelation that comes with understanding the gospel will flow to areas outside of my expectation, outside of my planning, outside of the things that I want to keep a cute little box of where I want the gospel and my ministry to go to. And so that was the great revelation that Peter has, that then he distributes to the church, which is God shows no partiality to man. This message is for the Jews and also the Gentiles. That's the major moment. Now here's Jesus. You have to understand, Jesus, his entire time with these disciples is trying to demonstrate the new covenant, this good news, this beautiful gospel that he is bringing in. He's fulfilling the old covenant. He's bringing in. He is the living new covenant, and he's like telling and displaying it and literally showing them the gospel going to least reach people and giving them parables and giving them stories. They still don't get it. It takes Peter to see the golden corral of naughty food he can't eat, and an angel saying, go and eat, bro. Like, you got to chill. Your little cute boxes of how the gospel and new covenant should be organized and go, those all got broken, and now the gospel needs to flow freely. So why am I talking? I don't know. Okay, so hey, come to New Life, baby. If you're in Watertown, if you're in New York, heck, if you're in the Eastern Hemisphere, I want to invite you to come out to Watertown this Friday night to the New Life Gala. It's probably invite only. Still show up. I'll welcome you at the door. I'll give you a kiss, smuggle you in. You can have some pigs in a blanket, hear a good message. And then then Jody, I'm trying to think through my schedule here. This Friday is that. And then Jody comes back on Sunday or Monday of this upcoming week. We're going to figure that out. And then the following weekend, we're with an amazing Hopewell Church, Good Shepherd, down in Pennsylvania doing a youth retreat. And then Sunday, oh boy, we're going to be with Ron and Cindy Neff down there at Grace Covenant, baby, in Lewistown, man. So it's going to be a crazy next couple of weeks. It's going to be so much fun. But, man, God is doing so many cool things. I cannot help but think of you watching this, supporting us, sending in prayer stuff, just sending encouragement stuff. Like the tribe that has been built around us, for us in this past season, I've been overwhelmed with a sense of gratitude, with a sense of just real like zest and zeal for what God's called us to, of just like, no, man, like, Lord, you've been giving us green lights along the way. You've been showing us favor. You've been so faithful to us in really hard times and really good times, everything in between. But now the people kind of coming around, it's just like super exciting. So there's a couple more insane things that we will be launching in the next couple months. And once those, no, this is a visioneer's famous last words. Once these puppies launch, I think we're going to be unfolding all the stuff we've been doing over the past years. I think we're going to be building teams, unpacking that, raising funds to support these different ministries. But the one coming up is phenomenal, baby. The one coming up is almost the culmination of all the stuff we've been doing over the past year and a half through Seidler Family Ministries, through Forward Coalition, through the Called Collective, through the Gateway Project. There's something popping that's going to kind of like almost be the catch-all for all those, which is phenomenal. So I'm so excited. So, the number one thing that I wanted to talk through today is the whole idea of apostolic mindset. And apostolic mindset, like when you think apostolically, when you think with an idea of advancement in the kingdom, there's kind of two different paths you can take. And one I like to call apostolic, S-T-A-L-L, apostolic, and the other one is apostolic, the one that you find throughout the Bible. And apostolic is a high controlled environment. Same apostolic drive of growth and building and movement forward and taking the gospel where things have not been before and wanting to see new things started. But there's a sense of control to how the building happens. And friends, what I find more times than none is when an apostolic gifting doesn't deal with the control issues that these are my tendencies. Even though people would say I'm controlling, this is the dark side of my leadership, the yang to my yin, the thing inside of me, because I can see so clearly what needs to be built. I want to then build it there. And the apostolic gifting, maybe from the stage, it sounds and looks good, but the stall in apostolic can overtake things sometimes because a leader sees that something isn't being built right or something's not on the right trajectory. And instead of coaching it or letting it unfold, say, hey, well, let's just see where this goes and let me train the leaders to lead that thing and let me give them a side conversation so they can fix it and get it back on track. They take the entire thing and start to manhandle it and manipulate it. And friends, if your fingerprints are all over something more than God's, I got 99 problems, but a dream ain't one. Hit me. You know what I'm saying? Like if your fingerprints are all over the thing that you're building and doing, and then you're like, okay, God built this. No, man, you built it. And anything that, sorry, I'm yelling. I've also been sleeping like 3 hours a night. Who am I yelling at, God? Man, it's like so many people build stuff and say God built it, and then it falls flat on its face, and then they blame other people. It's like, bro, if you built it and you controlled it, God's just watching you. God's not even high-fiving you. He's just watching what you're doing. It's like, come on, man. Like, I've seen too many people take a really good God idea, but then put it into their own timing. Dude, God ideas plus man's timing is still just a bad idea. So as apostolic leaders, someone who's thinking through advancement, someone's thinking through like gas pedal in the kingdom, someone's thinking through not just like you're an idea guy, like you're solving things. You're solving the big problems, not little problems. You're solving the massive things that the church or the world or your team or your ministry is facing right now, your region. That's what I really think the apostolic is. It's not bossing people around. It's not controlling people. It's not just because you can see it clearly, you need to manipulate to get it there. No, man, how about instead of controlling people, how about you make disciples? How about we do that, okay? How about we get back into the biblical model of apostolic leadership, which is building, training, bringing close, and then releasing. Jesus is the greatest example of this apostolic model. He brings in 12 people that were not the people that should have been picked. He trains them. He loves them. He leads them. He rebukes them. I was just reading through numerous times over the past week where Jesus says to Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan." It's just like reading all sorts of like notes about it and historical context. And it's just like Jesus is in these guys' lives and can be real with them, but then he releases them into the world, and he releases them into the nations, and he releases them into an apostolic assignment that we find in Acts 1:8, where it's Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, the ends of the earth. It starts to unfold apostolically of local, regional, area, and then the nations. So Jesus is the greatest example of the right way to fulfill and walk out your apostolic calling. So I'm really not impressed anymore by how much a leader can build. I'm impressed by how much a leader can deploy. I'm impressed by how much a leader, now I'm not impressed by how much they can carry and, oh man, you're doing all this stuff. I'm not impressed by that. I'm impressed with how much they can give away. I'm impressed with not how much leadership they can fulfill on the stage. I'm impressed by leaders who can like decompress and spread out the leadership to people around them. Pastor Don Smith out in Firm Foundation in good old Centerville, Michigan, baby. My goodness, he's a walking, living, breathing apostle. He's apostolic in every way, and he is it's in my mind, with my sight, the greatest example. When I go to Michigan a couple times a year and I see my friends and I see Pastor Don, and I see the leaders raise up, I see a guy who with tremendous vision, but he's spreading out the leadership. He's spreading out the apostolic influence. And every time I go back, man, the leaders that were there last year are not doing the same things leadership and capacity wise that they are this year. They're doing more. They're doing more things. They're adding more services, getting more responsibility. They're preaching more. They're raising up other leaders. So that church in Firm Foundation does a phenomenal job of demonstrating this principle of like apostolic versus apostolic. Apostolic is releasing. It's got full of its tenacity. It's got full of vision. It's got full of strong personalities. This is why I think the term apostle or apostolic kind of gets shade thrown on it, rightly so. Okay, because apostles are a crazy bunch, but apostles that don't deal with the control issues. And remember, friends, when you see leaders or a movement or something like that, or a church with high control, you just got to understand high control always comes from high fear. So it's leaders that aren't just like controlling just because they're controlling. They're controlling for a reason that is deep-seated of fear. A lot of that fear comes from insecurity. It's from, if this doesn't happen exactly like I'm going to look bad. No, who knows where it comes from. But when you see high control, it's not just because there's some sort of crazy leader. Usually, if you strip it back, it's like, narcissism, all that stuff. Okay, but if you keep on stripping that back, you usually just have either a highly insecure or highly fearful individual that hasn't dealt with that on a bottom level. So then it comes up in extremely overcompensating strong leadership or overcompensating controlling leadership. And friends, as if you carry the apostolic or walk in the apostolic, or you're a fivefold minister and you're like, yo, I got the fivefold giftings in my life, then you need to not just try to figure out how to raise up more leaders. That's where some of your energy needs to go to. Strong vision, cast vision, raise up leaders, build the team, launch it out, coach it, love it, father it, slap it in the booty if you need to. Just get going. Let's go. Like, whatever you do, spend time doing that. If that's 50% of your effort, do that. The other 50, though, you need to go deep in your own heart. You need to say, okay, I'm not just going to be fulfilled with that part of my apostolic gifting. I want to make sure this other side of apostolic gifting that's always there. Like, for an example, like the evangelist, the great thing that they're going to do is evangelize. The bad thing they're going to do is probably not make disciples as much, probably not be as plugged into the church as much. You can look at all the fivefold giftings and say, like, hey, this is where they're going to do really well. This is something you need to watch out for. I'm giving you the thing that the apostolic you need to watch out for is when you get too controlling, you got to do the work backwards and look at your own heart and go before the Lord. So I would encourage anybody out there who's feeling you got the visionary thing, you got the idea thing going on, you got the young apostolic thing going on. I would encourage you to spend equal, if not more time when you're with leaders, spend even more time doing business with God on the inside of your own heart. I constantly in all my teams use the phrase open-handed leadership. And that's just a spillover. I'm not trying to teach them. I'm trying to teach me. That's how I need to lead myself. That's when I sit in God's presence, I always am open-handed because I have so many things I want to do, so many things I want to accomplish. I can see how it's supposed to be done. I can start to get really handsy with stuff and get really controlling. So once again, it might not look like that, but it is like that. And so I want to say, God, whatever you want to do it, God. Here's the vision. Here's the dream. Here's the things that I feel. Here's some confirmations that I have. But the thing that I do before the Lord is I stay open-handed, and that's a phrase that I take from my secret place, and I instill it into my teams so they know when I say we're open-handed right now, it means we're going to be dreaming, we're going to be visioning, but I don't have something in mind that I'm trying to lead you to. I'm not trying to manipulate you and control you and say, let's do a brainstorming session when I figured it all out. I'm not wasting your time. I'm open-handed. I'm saying let's discern what God has for us. So I would encourage you to ask God, say, Lord, insecurities in my life that would make me lash out, would make me try to pump myself up, would make me behave in a certain way, or fear in my life, fear of failure, fear of what other people think, fear of man, fear of not, competing with the other people around me and not doing stuff as fast and not being seen as this leader. Just allow God to come in and melt all that away, man. So that's what I really have on my heart today, to talk to you about the apostolic, how that kind of functions in my life, in the ministries that we have and we lead. And I pray that you are challenged. I pray that you are encouraged. And check out one of these 3 things, baby. Go to calledcollective.org, calledcollective.org. Go to tgproject.org/forge. I hope that's it. And then go to forwardcoalition.org/Taos, Taos, to check these things out. Would love to see you pop up at one of these online things. Check out Forward School of Missions. Also, if you're a lead pastor, your spouse, your family, come check out the Art of Shepherding. We'd love to see you. Let me pray for you. Lord, thank you for this moment. Thank you for my friend listening right now, God. And we just together, let's just lift up Jody, God. We lift up Jody and the Waymakers team. God, let your presence fall. Thank you for your prophetic leading already. Thank you for the intercessors that are already just like praying for her and praying for the team, God. Continue to give us prophetic wisdom and insight to bless them and send them messages, God. So thank you for the work they're doing, Lord, as they fly to their next city in a couple days. God, bless them, be with them. Lord, you have something special for this team in Dubai. So, God, I pray that you would, as they're finishing up their trips now, as they go to the next city, prepare their hearts, refresh them, restore them. And, God, I pray for my friend listening that you would do something amazing in this apostolic area, God. Keep us away from the apostolic, where we stall because we're the ones holding it back, because we want it to be done a certain way and have all these exacting things. God, help us to be releasing. Help us to release people into their destiny. Help us to not be scared to empower leaders. Lord, from the Sadducees and Pharisees' perspective, Jesus empowered the wrong people. From the Sadducees and Pharisees' perspective, Jesus was spending time with the people he shouldn't have been doing that with, because he should be with them, the spiritual elites and the gifted ones and the rich young ruler, the guys with all the money and all the power and all the influence. But Jesus, you chose the weak things of the world to confound the wise. You chose the things that were humble and ready to demonstrate this is what my kingdom is about. So God, help us to spend time with the humble and the ready, to prove and just be another example of what your kingdom is all about. Lord, keep us far. I pray for my friend. I pray for myself. I pray for all the teams that we have in Seidler Family Ministries right now. God, I'm asking you would keep us far away from showy ministry. You'd keep us far away from trying to jump through hoops to show what we can do, from competing, from doing things that are just too often. The apostolic drives you to produce and drives you to perform, all that stuff. God, keep us far away from that. May we be humble. May we be dependent. And may we be fiery for you. In your name I pray. Amen. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you soon.